We'll be going over to Abuja studios where Jibrin Ndache joins us today. Morning, Jibrin, and thank you for joining us. Unfortunate scenario developing in Nasarawa State. I mean, so many people are quite shocked. But yes, yesterday, they understand the deployment, detachment of armed forces have been sent in there. But, you know, one would have thought that all of this would have died down, the authorities would have taken over. But what's going on? How come we're hearing this new news of killings going on there?
Good morning, Suleiman and the other colleagues there. Thank you for having me. The issue you raised, it's very appalling. You recall that on May 14, I was invited to this studio to speak on the same issue of national crisis. And if you recall, I raised quite a number of issues which I would like to refresh our mind on. One of it was the role of the federal government, how federal government have responded to issues of crisis, and in particular to that of Nasarawa State. You will recall I also said that there is largely from findings that there is political undertone, because this group, especially the group that is responsible for this, and the other group have no history of political violence. And you will ask, why do we have this violence now? The last time this thing happened, this unfortunate situation happened, was May 7, 2011, in 2013. From that period to date, it's about 4 months. It took the federal government 4 months to take a very critical national issue. And I said then that Nasarawa State, like Niger, like Kogi, like Kwara, and even states that are considered states that are very close to the seat of power. And therefore, any insecurity that happens there will have impact on what happened within the city center. For instance, the soldiers that were deployed to Nasarawa are soldiers from Gari. The battalion in Kefi is a battalion that is in charge of presidential guard and security within Abuja. So you ask, why the delay? Why did they have to take federal government 4 months to react, not even necessarily deploying the soldiers? What are other measures that have been taken by the federal government? I also recall that I said on May 14 here that unlike the other insurgency, like you say, the issue of Boko Haram in the area of Borno, this is a defined area where this crisis, you have this crisis, it's a defined area. These people are known. Those who are responsible for this are not insurgents who move from one forest to the other. They live within communities, they are known. So why is it that we have those who should act are unable to act decisively to bring them to the book? It has to take another 4 months and then another level of killing before federal government responds.
What do you think is responsible? Because, I mean, you've been covering this for some time now.
Hello?
What do you think is responsible? Why this amount of time being taken before the response?
Well, Suleiman, sometimes the attitude of those who should take decision on behalf of all of us, maybe it's as a result of how they see the situation, whether they don't see it as something that has any impact on national security. Otherwise, following this issue from May 2nd to date, from May 7th to date, I have not seen any reason why the federal government didn't act until it deployed soldiers, troops to Nasarawa. I don't know. And I don't think there is any reason for it. But again, you will see that even in other crisis points, the response of the federal government has been very slow. Even within the Boko Haram, the insurgent area, the response of federal government, it took a long time for the federal government to announce the state of emergency. It may be because of what people in government thought about some of these crises. Some people felt that yes, when there is crisis, you just look at it as an issue that may not have that is peculiar to a certain area. But I think that based on all what we said 4 months ago and several other stakeholders said on this channel, another channel, not even listening to, not even talking about what effort of Nasarawa State government, but even commentators on this channel and other channels on this issue, I think it was enough for federal government to act decisively beyond the military solution, which is to me is not a final solution, because in the end, whether you send the military there or not, the military will not live with the people. It's the people that have lived among themselves for years. And from my finding, there have not been history of this kind of crisis. Why do we have it now? Is there political undertone? What are the processes that are put in place to address that? What is the role of key political stakeholders in the state, both those who are in government and outside government, at state and federal government level?
So in your own, or to you, what exactly do you think is responsible for the violence? Because you've asked some of those questions, and I think it's basically what a number of Nigerians too are also wondering, that what has caused this particular violence in Nasarawa State. Do you have an idea?
Well, if you, in my preamble, you recall that I said the same thing on May 2nd. On May 14 here on this same channel, about the likelihood of political undertone on the issue. Because why should we have a persistent crisis in a state that used to be peaceful, that people have lived together for years in this state? It's a case of what you see in all parts of the state, where there are political interests. This political interest, rather than denying and using peaceful means of resolving it, people resort to violence using all sorts of political talks and all sorts of means to make their point. And I think it's very unfortunate. Because Suleiman, my colleague, but my worry is that for how long will you continue to invite the military to come and solve our problem? Today, I said it again on May 14, the greatest threat to our democracy today is not the military, but the political class itself. Because it's the political class that is fueling crisis all over the country, including Nasarawa State. So it is not the military. And as it is, the National Security Advisor also raised a very fundamental issue in July, that the military is in 28 states. The role of the military is not to be perpetually be in internal security operations.